Hey, what's up guys? Just want to bring you guys a follow-up video to the one I did yesterday. So I covered several yesterday's video. I covered Neo, I covered the big three, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum. We talked Golem moving up today. Talked ARK, talked 8x, talked Lisk, a few others. And so I want to just follow up on Neo. That's getting a lot of attention. A lot of you guys are asking me, hey, Neo's breaking down here. What should I do? So let's take a look at the longer term chart here. So there's just no way around this. This is still a bearish chart. We're just stair-stepping our way down. We've not yet broken that low though. And yesterday I said I believe that that was the low that we're going to see in this move for Neo. Doesn't necessarily mean we're going to rocket right back up, but I think this is going to hold. Now, you know, it's still not confirmed yet. And so the levels I'm looking at are two things, right? On the downside, that recent second low, we're not going to want to see that taken out. So let's kind of zoom in here a little bit. And, you know, that's this most recent low here that it put in after breaking down from this little tightening pattern. So yesterday we were looking at this pattern. It broke to the downside, and now it put in another low right here. And so it's a higher low, so we're going to want to see that hold. If we start to see that breakdown, which corresponds with this big green candle back here, that's going to be a negative sign for Neo on the downside. On the upside, we've still not broken that 10 EMA. And you guys got to remember what I mentioned here. When it broke back in here, I said what'll tend to happen is it'll bounce into that moving average, and look what's happening. It moves and it just fails, moves up, and that's where it tends to fail. That's going to be the first line of resistance that I want to see get taken out. So am I holding Neo? Yes, I'm holding a core position, but I've also been trading it a lot. So when we had this extreme panic selling here, I picked some up at these lows, sold it up as it started to hit these highs, and have been picking some more back up here at these lows, but keeping a tight leash on it. So I'm trading it, I'm holding a core position. Should you sell it? You know, a lot of you guys are asking me, should I just take the loss? Should I sell it? That leads me to believe you guys bought up here to some of the highs. And so at this point, if you've already ridden it down this far, if it were me, I would hold it. I mean, that just depends on you guys. You know, I'm not expecting it to necessarily rocket back up. And if you see other things you'd rather be in at the moment, then that's your decision. If you're holding it more for a longer term hold and you believe in the project, then these may be the lows and you may be selling at the lows. But again, it just all depends. If it breaks here, then sure enough, I mean, you know, if you want to get out of it, or if you're still in a profit and you want to lock in that profits, that's going to be up to you guys. I think it's just oversold. I think this was a big washout day here, and we'll know soon enough. I really would like to see it get above this 10 EMA on the daily. If we can get above that, that'll be a good first sign. But you know, volume on this most recent downtrend is, it's not bad. It's above average, but it's definitely not a huge bar. So I'm thinking we bottom out here somewhere, but let's keep an eye on it. The RSI is just way oversold. We're definitely due for more of a bounce, but you know, as I mentioned yesterday, there's not been any follow through yet. So I'd like to see that come out here soon. Another one is Golem. So I mentioned Golem at the end of my video. I didn't do a chart on Golem, but I said, hey, keep an eye on a few that I think are bottoming. Saya coin was one of them. Golem was the other. And sure enough, we saw a nice pop in Golem today on the daily chart. So if you look at that, I mean, just on the day went up 25%. We're following through a little bit on the upside. And the thing I like about this one is look at the volume. I mean, just huge volumes coming in. Very good, very strong move. Some good conviction. We're kind of pulling in a little bit here, and that's just normal. I mean, it just went up so far so fast. The 10 EMA is still way back here. If we zoom in a little bit on the 4-hour charts, you can see we're still a little extended, but it's still marching up. You know, the RSI is up here. If we go to the hourly charts, you know, this is the one I'd be looking to trade, and it looks like right now it's just bouncing back up off the 10 EMA on the hourly, which they tend to follow these on the trend. So this is where I'd be looking to pick it up on little dips here if you're not in it. I did add to my Golem position today on some of this follow through that we saw to the upside, and we'll see where it goes. Right now it's doing good. It's definitely a good trading opportunity if you're looking for some of the shorter term gains. You know, you make a quick 20-25% move on some of these, and so this market is just feels like it's a lot of trading right now, you know, and I'm capitalizing on some of that. I do have my core position, but as far as my trading portfolio goes, I'm taking the quick gains. You know, I'm not looking for the 100%ers, right? I'm looking for the 20%ers and moving in and out of those as they happen. So we're seeing some of those. We saw it yesterday with 8X. We're seeing it with Golem today, and some of the bounces off the extreme lows like we saw on Neo. So setting up for some good moves, but I think a lot of these charts are starting to look good for some longer term holds. Golem could be bottoming out here, so keep an eye on this one. One more, I mentioned it earlier today on Twitter, Bitcoin Cash. And so look at the daily chart here. There's a couple of resistance levels that I was looking at here, but let me clear these lines. If we look a little bit at the near-term resistance, you know, this level that we were just seemed to be breaking and selling out of, every time we would hit this level, and it finally broke above that today on a closing basis, and it's pulling right back to that 10 EMA, and now it's moving back off of it. Volume on that sell was very low. Let me zoom in a little bit. So good consolidation. So keep an eye on this one. I think this one might start moving up higher. If we go to the USD chart on this one, the level I'd be looking for here to confirm that is this high basically of today. Correlates with some of these resistance levels that we've been seeing where it tends to sell off at, and that's just right around 640, 650. And so that's the level I'm looking at. If you see it close at 660 or above, that's going to be a good breakout. It's looking strong. If we zoom in on the hourlies or the 4-hour chart here, you can see the volume just really came in. It's pulling back, hitting that 10 right now. That's the level you're not going to want to see it get below. And here's really the breakout level. So if you want to be safe, give it to about 660. If it starts to move above that, looks like we might head higher. How high will we go? The next resistance is going to be around this 730, 740 zone. And then above that, I mean, we could start approaching these old highs around 800, 880. And so that'll be interesting to see where that goes. If it breaks out from here to the old highs would be 34%. So even if that's all it gives us, that's not a bad trade. So keep an eye on Bitcoin Cash. I know for you Bitcoin maximalists and purists, that's not something you want to hear. And I understand that. Politics aside, this is a pretty good looking chart at the moment. That's going to be it for tonight, guys. I do have a live stream scheduled for tomorrow. So let's look at some charts together. I do want to cover a little bit about money management. And so I'll kind of give you some of my thoughts around that. It's a very important topic, just because you can know the charts. You can find good setups. You can see the patterns that I teach. But if you don't have good money management skills, meaning where's your stops, where do you take profits, how do you scale in and out of positions, how many do you hold at one time, all that stuff, right? Using margin. If you don't manage that portion, that's going to make or break your portfolio success. You can spot the right chart, you can get on the right wave and catch these gigantic moves up that take you a couple 100%, but if you don't know when to get in, when to get out, if you don't have the discipline to set stops and to take profits, then it's going to be a hard climb, because you're undermining a lot of the gains that the market's giving you. And so I think money management's important. I'm going to probably put some more in-depth material, and somebody had mentioned it today to me, and I think it's worthy of a mini course. So I might have to look into that and put some more meat on the bone there and give a little bit more explanation around how to set stops and how to use them, and when do you go based on sentiment and news and reaction, overbought, oversold, and scaling in and out of positions, all that. Definitely important, and definitely goes hand in hand with the fundamentals and the technical analysis. So that's going to be it. Take care, guys.